Have any celebrities actually faked their deaths? Let's look at 5.
You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know.
Number 1, Tupac Shakur. Now, Matt and I did an episode on this earlier this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's do a quick recap. There are a lot of questions about the way his body was handled after his death. That's not a theory. That's true. A lot of people who expected to see the body didn't see it. It was cremated very soon after the murder. Second piece of evidence, some of his colleagues and some of his peers, like Suge Knight, have made statements that people interpret as implying that Tupac is still alive. The most famous of these is an interview with Suge Knight that you can find online. It's where he mentions not seeing Tupac's body. Check it out, let us know what you think. Third piece of evidence, and one that we didn't really include in our original episode, there's a numerical significance that some people are assigning to various pieces of Tupac's work, even the date of his death. The number 7 seems to come up again and again, they argue. Now, we didn't include this simply because we couldn't find enough of a connection there, but we would love to know if you think that's legit and if you can give us some more information about how these numbers might tie in. And the last and the biggest piece of evidence, let's be honest, folks, Tupac has made so many albums after he died. He's featured on songs, he's in videos. I mean, he was up with Snoop Dogg live, but that was a hologram, so let's not count that. The idea here then would be that he's somehow alive and making music after his death. But then that brings us some questions, and these questions are going to pop up with our other 4 celebrities. If you're going to fake your death, then why would you leave clues allowing people to find you? I mean, people who don't even know you, just people who like your albums. Secondly, if you're going to fake your death, then why would you continue to do the same stuff you did under your previous identity? That seems like a very easy way to get caught. One last thing on Tupac. You can find online a 2009 clip of a New Orleans party where someone who looks kind of like Tupac is visibly, living, active, partying, and people who believe that Tupac is still alive also might believe that Tupac's there on YouTube. Of course, this is kind of like a Bigfoot picture. It doesn't check out. It's not strong enough a case for us to say that he really is alive. But let's go pre-internet. Let's go to number 2 on our list. By far the most popular celebrity fake death theory, that is Elvis Presley. Since his death, people from across the world have claimed to see Elvis doing various things, making peanut butter, banana sandwiches, walking around, buying Cadillacs. We have to ask why they're seeing the same thing. Is it because he just made such an impression that people miss him? Is it because there's a huge glut of Elvis impersonators? Personally, I think that we can say at least a few of those alleged sightings are actually Elvis impersonators. But just like in Tupac's case, there were some questions about the way his body was handled after his death. In fact, the autopsy of Elvis Presley was reopened years later just to settle some of these long-standing questions about how he actually died. Number 3, Andy Kaufman. Avant-garde comedian known for pulling a fast one on his audience. He publicly stated that he would love to fake his death, like, oh, let me just fake my death. Wouldn't that be the ultimate joke on the audience? And then, he died in 1984. And in 2004, 20 years later, someone surfaces on the internet saying almost the same thing, like, hey, I'm Andy Kaufman, I'm sorry I faked my death. Most people, especially most Kaufman fans, don't believe this. As much as we all love our favorite celebrities, unfortunately, death is a rule that applies to everyone, famous or not. Now, just like in the Tupac case, there is purported footage of Andy Kaufman on YouTube. Just like in the Tupac case, this is nowhere near conclusive. Again, it's Bigfoot rules. But this hasn't stopped people from claiming that this brilliant comedian, whether you love him or not, has somehow managed to pull a fast one on the entire world. Number 4, Jim Morrison of The Doors. Now, this one has some very interesting wrinkles. Just like Andy Kaufman, Jim Morrison had spoken to some of his peers and colleagues saying, hey, it'd be kind of cool to fake your own death, right? I mean, you get away from everything. And at the time, his colleagues didn't put too much stock in that. His manager, Sugarman, and his keyboardist for The Doors, Ray Manzarek, both talked to him about this stuff, but it didn't really occur to him that he might have been serious until after his death. Now here's where it gets a little bit strange. I'm not going to say crazy, but a little bit strange. Years later, Ray Manzarek writes a book called The Poet in Exile, where the main character, a keyboardist for a popular rock group, meets the former frontman of his rock group who faked his death and is living in a remote island in the Indian Ocean. Now that's pretty interesting, right? The Poet in Exile has also been made into a film adaptation, or there were talks to do so. For his part, we should add that Ray himself has claimed that Jim Morrison never contacted him after the date of his death. But just like with Elvis Presley, Andy Kaufman, and Tupac Shakur, this has not stopped numerous fans from claiming that Jim Morrison successfully swindled the music industry and got away clean. And last but not least, the most famous of our celebrity deaths, the most recent at least that Matt and I found, the king of pop, the guy who made Thriller, Michael Jackson. Did Michael Jackson fake his death in 2009? We were surprised to find that a lot of people think he did. So what's their evidence? What's their claim? Well, they say the motivation's there. Michael Jackson was in a lot of debt right before his demise, and he had been for a number of years. Secondly, there are again some YouTube clips that the true believers claim show Michael Jackson emerging after his ambulance trip, and there are again some remaining nagging questions about what happened to the body after his death. Now, is any of this conclusive proof that any of these men are alive? Not really, but if you want them to be alive, there's a lot there to make you wonder. Personally, I think one of the strangest things is just how many albums Tupac Shakur came out with posthumously. Those are 5 of the most popular celebrity fake death theories. Now, we have to add one caveat here. While there's no solid proof of any of these cases yet, new evidence might emerge that could completely blow the lid off the story and change our understanding of the facts so far. Where's this evidence going to come from? I mean, that's tough to answer, but it might be possible that you could help us find some more evidence. So let us know if you think any of these celebrities are alive and why. We'd love to hear what you think. Feel free to leave us a comment. You can also find us on Facebook at Conspiracy Stuff. We're on Twitter at Conspiracy Stuff. And you can send us an email. We're conspiracy@discovery.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week when we cover the Mafia.